Ahoy, welcome to the video. Andrew at the wheel. Well, not literally. I'm surprised no one's pointed to that and wondered, is he on a boat? Is he on a ship? Well, no, I'm not. And to be honest, if the wheel was on the wall, that would be quite worrying, wouldn't it? But I do have a paddle. Shit, I forgot the ceiling was that low. I do have a paddle with me, so if anything does flood, gets a bit messy, I can paddle my way out so I don't drown. I'm very clever, aren't I? I'm not. Now in this video, it's just like a review discussion of the mystery, two particular things, that of the Area 51 sign found at Frank's M-shaped cave, and also the general idea of maybe there are other hikers out there we don't know of who've been out there since and recent. But let's just begin with the Area 51 sign. There's a lot of theories with that. Oh yeah, just one additional thing. When I say theories, some people think I say fairies. Don't know, I guess it's just my mouth is broken at times. Well, it's not the only thing that's broken in me. So yeah, with the Area 51 sign, a range of people have said that it's fake, it's not real, that the sign was bought online from Amazon or something, or maybe from another shop in real life. It's true, you can find replicas, fake signs on those sites online, and they do look very similar. Same colour, same texture, same font, text, colouring, the lot. So yeah, there is a possibility. One thing I will say though, it does not exclusively just apply to that one particular sign. You can get other Area 51 related signs, maybe more modern ones, recent ones. So there's that to take in mind. Additional thing is, well, it's easy just to say, oh, fake sign, fake this, fake that. You could say that about really any object, thing out there. You could be in a parking lot and you get a parking ticket on your car. What, you walk up to it and say, that's fake, because I can find ones online. So yeah, but let's just tie back to the main factors which determine and give more insight. So, the sign itself, it was battered, it looked worn, it looked old, dusty, and that's because of where it was found. Why was it battered? Why was it bent? It could imply that maybe it was ripped off a signpost somewhere with a bit of force, and that's why it kind of bent in on itself. That would make sense. Or it's been knocked around on a few rocks, who knows. But there are 3 bullet points. I can't even say the number 3, my mouse broke. But there's 3 factors, okay? 1 is distance, 2 is where the sign was found, and then the 3rd factor is military and the guy who was originally looking for it. If we begin with factor number 1, the distance, we don't ultimately know the definitive location of that cave, what Frank found. Yes, he was at the highway, and you could say, well, that's very far away from, Kenny's M Cave hike route, the supposed cave in that area. Whilst that is true, when you do look at the highway, it depends where he was on it, but he said he's going east. And when you look on Google Earth and you look east, it's kind of heading back in the direction towards the M Cave hike route. Not quite, but it's, it's going in that direction. It's going back that way. So there's that to take in mind. But more importantly is because we don't have the coordinates, we can't tell or we can't know how far it is away from the city, because the highway going east is going into the city, if I'm not wrong. We can't tell how far away it is from the city, from that cave, or the highway itself. Let's base it off the idea it's close by, near to the city, outskirts. It makes sense it was a homeless person that might have been hanging around there for some bit. Or it might be other people exploring and playing a prank. They put the sign there to scare other people off. And whilst those 2 ideas to lots of people can be true, we don't ultimately know if that's the case because we don't know the distance of where the cave was and how far it is away from the outskirts of the city, the highway itself. If we're basing it off the idea that it's in a remote location and it's kind of far out and it's hard to locate, as said by Frank, then it definitely makes you rethink things. Why would a homeless person cover that much distance just for a bit of shelter? Why would some people explore that as a prank or something to put the sign there and cover all that distance just for that? What's the point of it? Is it really worth covering that distance in that dangerous terrain and that heat? Is it really worth it? Would anyone be bothered to do that? That's if we're basing it off it's in a remote location. I mean, you can argue the mine shaft, the covered cave, those hike routes, they're in remote places. You know, you don't just get lots of normal general people just going there every single day. You don't get that many people going to those locations. So when stuff happens there, such as the mine shaft being altered with, the covered cave, the missing rock, why would someone go all that distance just to make a few changes? So that could apply to Frank's cave with the Area 51 sign. You know, it all comes down to distance. I don't know if we'll ever get the location, the coordinates. I don't know. Now let's move on to factor number 2, which is where the sign was found. It wasn't hung up on a wall. It wasn't stood proud. So anyone seeing it would be deterred or maybe a bit intimidated if it was some prank or if it was some sign put there by a homeless person to keep people away. They didn't do a good job because it was found underneath rocks. It was kind of found buried, if you want to call it that. So if you're linking it back to the idea, it was a homeless person or it was just a group of people exploring, messing around, why would someone get a hold of that sign, wherever it was from, and then hide it under a rock in hopes that someday that someone would come across it and document it? Really, you got to ask yourself, what are the chances and odds of that happening? You know, in their mind, do they really think someone's going to come across it? So, you know, it's a bit weird. One theory, one idea, I think by Jeff Clark and another person or so, was it was washed up. You know, maybe like during rain time, storms, stuff like that, and it collected. The sign was washed away or something, collected with bits of rubble, dust, vegetation, whatever, and then it finally stopped at that cave and it just piled on top of one another and remained there. That would make more sense, naturally, to be honest. It wouldn't make sense if it was just buried there, hidden there by someone messing around, because if you wanted to prank someone or you wanted to deter someone, normally a deterrence is something that stands out or the presence of it stands out. If it's not visual, it could be auditory. You know what I'm saying? With it being hidden, makes you think maybe more natural. It was washed up. So there's that. And then the third factor, and it's just simply down to, you know, and the third factor, we just link back to the military idea. There was originally a military guy looking for this cave. What would a military guy be doing or be needing to find this cave in particular? Now, on one side, you could say it can't be that important if he contacted and reached out to Frank, who isn't a part of the military, from what I know of. You know, if it was something very secretive and there was a military guy involved, he probably wouldn't be going around reaching out to general public, if we call it that. So, yeah, okay. That's one way of looking at it. But then a different perspective would be for a military guy to have interest in an area such as that desert, and a specific area to say the least, then you might think, there could be something interesting going on, something a bit mysterious. You know, like how Jeff said, the way land has been taken over by military, it seemed to happen either at an accelerated pace or it just begun after Kenny Veach with his M Cave discovery and publicly talking about it. That's when they wanted to take over more land, the military. So could this military guy be wanting to investigate the cave because they need to take more land over or something. Could that be it? Could the cave, the shallow one, have some kind of significance? Be hiding something? Maybe. But then, like I said, if you're going to reach out to some people who aren't a part of military, then is it really that secretive or suspicious then if they're trusting somebody who's on the outside? Does that take in mind? But then you can recounter it with the additional point of, well, there must be some kind of trust or some kind of rapport built, because the military guy specifically said, do not give location away, do not give out coordinates. So there's still some kind of secrecy between the two, some kind of pact, something going on at least. You know, I think, and it can apply to anything in life. If there's nothing dodgy going on, there's nothing hidden, there's nothing mysterious, nothing like really important, then it doesn't need to be really kept a secret, like when it comes to certain things. And this is like one of them. But yeah, it is being kept secretive. So yeah. At the end of the day, my overall opinion is, I don't think the sign is fake. I don't believe it's fake. I could understand the idea that it was washed up naturally, possibly. I don't know what the elevation, the height is of the cave and then the ground. I don't know if it's on a slope or not. I can't quite remember. But I do think the sign is real. It's genuine. What I don't know is who would have put it there and why. But with a military guy being interested in that area, makes you wonder, maybe he was out to recollect that sign, maybe? I don't know. One idea, maybe.